Hi there folks, today we're at Balmoral, just arrived here, it's just before 10 o'clock. What we're going to do is we're going to head into the main visitor centre and then we're going to go into Balmoral Castle and we'll rejoin you there. We're going to cross the River Dee first of all. You'll see the bridge just behind me. So without much further ado, let's go. Today I've come to Balmoral Castle, approximately a 2.5 hour journey directly north from Edinburgh and around 50 miles west of Aberdeen. And now for those that are not sure, Balmoral Castle is the Highland private residence of our present monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. The property has belonged to the royal family since about 1848. 5 years after the coronation of Queen Victoria, her husband bought the estate and the former castle that was located there. They had stayed at another location near Loch Laggan, approximately 50 miles west of Balmoral, and in 1844 and 1847 found that the rain was pretty constant, so Queen Victoria's physician, Sir James Clark, had recommended Deeside, where Balmoral is located, because of its more agreeable climate. Hence the reason why Prince Albert looked for a suitable area to eventually purchase, and this was the area that he purchased. He bought out the remaining lease on the property in the small estate on the death of the previous owner, and eventually bought the land outright from the trustees in around about 1852 for the sum of £32,000, and that's equivalent to about £4 million in today's terms. By this stage it was already decided that the existing property, although it was comfortable, was too small, so they started planning to demolish the original one and to build this new castle here. So without much further ado, let's take a little walk around and see what we can see. Now this plaque in the ground denotes the doorway to the original castle. By this stage it was already decided that the existing property, although it was comfortable, was just a bit too small, especially with a family of 9 children and all of your staff. So plans were put in place to build a new structure, and eventually the original castle property was demolished. So the castle that you see today was completed in 1856. William Smith was the architect, but Prince Albert played a part in many of the features that you see here, adding a few more turrets as well as including some more, shall we say, castle-like features. Some say that the castle is a little too dated even for the time that it was built. Even although it followed Scottish baronial styling, it resembled to a certain extent some of the original castle, and there was even a suggestion that it had a bit of Germanic influence. Of course, this should not come as a surprise, as Prince Albert, after all, was of German descent and origin. Until Prince Albert's death in 1861, the royal family would come to Balmoral each year during the late summer. After Albert died, Queen Victoria continued to come to Balmoral and would spend as much as 4 months at a time here. The only part of the castle that visitors are permitted to go inside is the ballroom that you can see here. Unfortunately, no filming or photographs are permitted inside. Now, as you can imagine, as the property has been in the hands of the royal family for over 150 years, each successive generation of the royal family have all added something to the layout of the estate. Here we see the beds of heather that Prince Philip played a part in choosing and designing. Now the marker plate that you can see here on the ground denotes one of the years that the River Dee burst its banks and has flooded the surrounding area. The Balmoral Estate clearly has not escaped this. The one that you can see here is from 2015, when Storm Frank hit Scotland. The nearby town of Ballater was badly affected, as can be seen here.
Storm Frank.
As we walk down to the River Dee, you will be able to see for yourself just how high the river had risen on each occasion that the area was subjected to storms. Presently, the river level is considerably lower. That's 2014. Now, dogs have always played an important part in successive generations of the royal family, and Queen Victoria was no exception. However, her favourite breed of dog was the collie, unlike our present Queen's preference for corgis. Here we see a statue commemorating one of Victoria's favourite dogs, Noble, who died at the age of 16. Now, around the estate there are several trails that you can walk on, but one that I can highly recommend is the Blue Trail. It's a couple of miles in length and the first 3/4 of a mile are all uphill. But the reason I recommend this one is that about halfway round the trail there is a statue, as there are on all of the trails, but this statue is of John Brown. Now, John Brown was not just Queen Victoria's servant and gillie, but also became a close friend, very much to her eldest son's extreme consternation. Brown died in 1883, and it is said that he was instrumental in bringing the Queen out of her mourning after the death of her husband in 1861. So Brown's death was catastrophic for the Queen. So she had this statue commissioned. Now, you might wonder why it is in the middle of the forest here. It wasn't always so. Apparently after Victoria's death, her son King Edward VII had the statue removed here to effectively be hidden away, as he felt that Brown had had far too much influence over the Queen. I have to say, I pity the staff that were employed to transport the statue all the way up here. However, I think we can all agree it's a fine looking statue. And if you haven't seen the film yet that tells the story of their friendship, then I would suggest that you watch Mrs. Brown, with Judi Dench as the Queen and Billy Connolly as John Brown. It is simply an excellent film. There you go, folks, that concludes the video, and our visit to Balmoral Castle comes to an end, but I can highly recommend it. If you've got a few hours to spare and you're coming through this way on your travels, then stop off at Balmoral Castle and take in some of the most stunning scenery along the River Dee, round by the trails on the estate. Highly recommended. Thanks for watching the video, and if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel and we'll keep you posted on any new videos that we bring out. Thanks for watching.